this week's epic chapter of Bleach, Ichigo and Ishida continue to battle atop the Soul King's palace as it continues to crumble and crash into the ground, and the Quincy leader prepares to take the right hand of God and everything away from him so that he can take over the entire Bleach universe. This week's chapter was awesome for a number of reasons. One, Ishida versus Ichigo. It's very short-lived, it's very cool. Right after that, we get the epic return of Gerard Valkyrie, one of my favorite members of the higher-ups in the Quincy army. I love his design, he reminds me of Thor, and he's gloriously gigantic and golden. He's pretty badass. So this week's chapter was pretty freaking epic. I mean, you gotta admit, these characters fighting on this big castle in the sky, which is slowly crumbling, is a really nice setting. But what I don't like about this chapter is Ishida. I don't like the fact that he's not really explaining anything. His only rationale when it comes to attacking Ichigo and his friends is that simply he is a Quincy. He clearly has some sort of other ulterior motive in mind, otherwise he would have probably done something a little more deadly against his friends. But I gotta admit, it is pretty shocking when he ends up sending all of them flying off the side, and then that other Quincy comes by the name of Lil Barrow. He's the guy who has the big freaking massive gun, and he tries to fire at them as they're falling into the abyss. What's really interesting about this scene is that Ishida pretty much knows exactly what this guy was doing. He knows, well, it was probably a good idea to try and finish them off before they even hit the ground, because even if they do survive, there's a possibility that they could come back. This actually impresses Gerard Valkyrie, who seems really happy that Ishida has decided to join their group. That's when they cut to this other scene where the Soul King is seemingly taking over the right hand of God and seems to have claimed the power for himself. He then uses this weird ability where he points his finger towards the ground and this massive spear of darkness, which I'm guessing actually comes from the right hand of the Soul King, is getting ready to plow into the ground and cause all types of trouble. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach? Hell yeah! We're finally getting into some good action here. What was really interesting about this chapter is just Ishida. You know, it's one of those elements of the series where they can't outright give the answer about what he's doing right now. Clearly, he has some sort of really big plan, and I don't know if it's going to involve, something that involves his mother, or if he's going to try and go out like a boss kamikaze style and try to stop the Soul King. I think that would be pretty incredible, but I don't want it to go down that way. I eventually want Ichigo and Ishida to actually team up together and fight against him. It would be very fitting, especially for how this arc is going, what with the whole Quincy versus Shinigami thing. But what was really good about this chapter, I think, was the artwork, because the action scenes were easy to follow. Unlike last week's chapter, which was basically just a mishmash of black and white, this week's chapter was really cool, and there were a lot of scenes I really appreciated, like when Ishida was firing on Ichigo, and he just blocks it immediately with his big sword. I thought that was really cool. I'm just a little disappointed that they were seemingly defeated so easily when all the other higher-up Stern Ritter members appeared, and they're just falling down. That's pretty much it. You know, the next couple chapters, we might not even get back to that. They could literally be falling for the next couple of chapters. That's how Bleach works. We're just going to have to wait and see what's actually going to happen. But everybody seems pretty freaking shocked when the Soul King decides to take over the power of his right hand, which, now that he has that power, does that mean that the actual body of the Soul King is going to start slowly degrading again? Is he going to die? Are they going to have to start bringing out the left hand and all the freaking right and left legs and all the other body parts? Who knows? We're just going to have to continue to read and see what happens. All I know is I'm still excited for what's going to happen, but this was still a rather interesting chapter. I'm more interested to see how Ishida and Ichigo's development is going to go over the course of this final arc of the series, and I just wish Ichigo could have done, frankly, a little bit more. You know, a lot of the times, he's basically just standing around and screaming and swinging his sword around. I mean, he is the main character, but still, I'd like a little more development from him and to see some more of his brand new abilities that he learned. But clearly, they're putting those on the back burner and saving them for a much bigger moment. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'm still pretty excited. There's still a lot of twists and turns where this final arc could go. There's still a ton of characters who haven't even gotten into the battle yet. So, if anything, we're just getting started. We just hit the self-destruct button, and things are about to get real. So this was an exciting chapter of Bleach, which had some good artwork, some good action scenes. A lot of the main characters appeared. Some really cool villains like Gerard Valkyrie appeared, and maybe you even have some favorites, like that one Jawa-looking freaking Quincy, or the one with the big gun. And Ishida is always just a really cool character. And then there is the Quincy leader himself. I just don't know what to make of this guy quite yet. We're clearly going to have to get one hell of a backstory on this character, which I imagine is going to take up a little bit of time, because they got some splaining to do. Otherwise, this was an exciting chapter that you should definitely check out if you've been following the Bleach manga series, or if you considered yourself a fan of the anime version, which we all pray is going to return someday. So I'm going to give this week's chapter a 4 out of 5, a pretty damn good chapter that I really liked, and you should definitely check it out. Before you guys leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's chapter of Bleach. Did you have any favorite moments? Do you have any theories as to what's going on? Especially with Ishida. What is his big plan? Please tell me in the comment section below. And remember guys, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow our brand new video podcast. Thank you guys again for watching, and stay dandy, baby.